when I was in my old neighborhood back in the day, and this was in like the springtime of 2006. I remember it was kind of cool outside. You know what I'm saying? On this particular day, it wasn't like too hot, but it wasn't like real cold neither. But it was kind of cool outside. And this dude named Mark was deaf, partially deaf. He could still hear a little bit though. Mark had like an old school Camaro or something like that. That man used to always be doing burnouts down the street. Man, he used to always be burning rubber and shit like that, floating down the street, floating up and down Granville. On this particular day, I'm standing on I'm closer toward Granville and Kendall. I'm closer toward Kendall Street. I used to stay on Granville and the Cage when I was a teenager. I'm closer toward Granville and Kendall, and I'm hanging out with like some of the older niggas that was out there. Some of them same dudes went to high school with my brother back in the day. And it's me standing out there. It's this dude named BJ. It's dude named Kurt. It's white boy Kev was out there also. I think DJ or Daquan was also out there. I can't remember who was all out there, yo. They used to always be had their cars parked like right down the street or across the street from this dude named Willie Crib. And on a corner house, a Granville and a Kendall, it was this dude named Mr. Irvin that stayed there. We all called him Mr. Irvin, you know what I'm saying? Mark, the deaf dude, he had a wife named dude Lando, childhood, what used to be a childhood friend of mine named Lando. He had an auntie named Dot, and I think they auntie Dot was married to Mark, or they were just in a relationship. I know they was in like a long-term relationship. I used to always see them together. And on this particular day, he did a burnout. He was driving down Granville. He tried to make a left on Kendall, going toward Piedmont Way, and he tried to burn rubber when he did that shit. And he lost control and smacked it to a pole, smacked it to a motherfucking power, the pole that was holding on to like the main power line, and the fucking power line blew up. And other power lines around the hood had blew up also. It was a blackout from like Warwick Street all the way to like motherfucking Evergreen, from like Schoolcraft going all the way down to like Linden. Like it was a big ass power outage and shit like that. They had to bring the fire truck and everything because when the power line blew up, Mark didn't move his car out the way. So his car was right under the power line that blew up, and all of those, like, I had a complete different amount of respect for like the electrical fires after that, as far as like standing there by them, because it was holes in the ground, yo. It was holes in the concrete. Like when that shit blew up, when the power line blew up, and it was like a big ass electrical fire, it was holes in the concrete. That's how hot it was. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Irvin, a little bit of Mr. Irvin house had also caught on fire. And Mark was bleeding. This nigga Mark was bleeding, yo. Because that nigga had smacked his forehead on the steering wheel. My sisters wasn't out there. But some of the majority of the people that was out there was the older niggas. As soon as that power line blew up, though, everybody took off running. And then when we saw that Mark was all right and ain't nobody get hurt, we were just out there laughing after that. We were just laughing. And all of the sparks and shit that was flying was falling on Mark's car. And it caught his car caught on fire. And then that bitch caught all the way on fire. It got totaled. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when this is how I knew when it hit the gas part, when it hit the gas can in his car, because his whole car was on fire. Then it was like a big ass explosion. And I was like, yup, that gas can, the fire just hit that gas can. You feel me? But everybody in the hood knew that was Mark. But I was thinking about that One of Them Days movie. And I was just thinking about how it was one part of that movie when like the SZA was on a power line and shit like that. And I was thinking, like, is it a possibility? Sometimes I feel like God be talking to me with movies, though. And I was thinking, like, is it a possibility, dog, that somebody made up some bullshit lie on me back in the day? But the only way that could be maintained is if a whole lot of niggas in the hood maintain some type of a fucked up ass secret. Because everybody in the hood knew that was that nigga Mark that did that shit. That dude was smacked into a pole, yo. And the next day I went to school. I ran into this dude, Joseph Baggett. He dead now. Joseph died in October 2024. I didn't know he was died until July 16, 2025, when I was walking through the Regal Tower Apartments in Southfield, Michigan, and I ran into this dude named Jazz that was Joseph Baggett's little cousin. And I was like, hey, bro, ain't you Joseph and Mook cousin, Mook or Jerry? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ain't you Joe and Mook little cousin? He like, yeah. He told me Joseph died in October 2024. I didn't even know it. I didn't know it till July 16, 2025. So, But I was going to Southfield Latham High in 2006. From 2005 to 2006, I was going to Southfield Latham High. Joseph Becker was also going to Southfield Latham High. Even I was cool with that nigga Tease or Devontae. Devontae was at Southfield Regional Academic Campus. He never went to Southfield Latham High. He was at SRAC. And Show McCall also was going to Southfield Latham High. You know what I'm saying? This is when we was all in the 9th grade. And Joseph came up to me in the hall with like, hey, Alva, you on Schoolcraft on the weekend? I'm like, yeah, nigga, I saw that shit. I actually was there before all that crazy shit happened. I actually saw how it happened. You know what I'm saying? And I don't remember who was all standing outside. I just remember niggas used to always be standing outside because Lando had an uncle named Willie that stayed on Granville, and they also had a grandma that stayed on Granville, and their grandma stayed like right next door to Mr. Irvin. Mr. Irvin was this older dude, yo. Every time I see him, he used to always be like, hey, Jay, what's up? Last time I talked to Mr. Irvin, actually, like, talked to him and stuff, back and forth and, like, seeing him in person, I think that was in, like, 2010 or some shit like that. I just walked up to him and was like, hey, what's up, Mr. Irvin? You been all right? Because when I stopped hanging out with niggas in 06, I stopped hanging out for real, for real. I came around once, literally every blue moon. And, Daquan or DJ, he told me, Daquan or DJ, he stayed like a few houses down away from Mr. Irvin. He told me that Mr. Irvin passed away. I think this was in like 2013 or something like that. And he told me after he died, the niggas in the hood stripped his house. Meaning they took the aluminum off of his house and took it to a scrapyard or something, got money for it. You know, crackhead type shit. You know, people can actually get money for like copper and aluminum. So I truly believe that, yeah, the crackheads in the neighborhood, whoever the crackheads was, they stripped his house. But he was like the main person in the hood that never moved. The older, you know, he was like the older guy. When it used to get real hot in that old neighborhood back in the day, he used to have a fire hydrant like right next to his house. They used to always bust that fire hydrant open and like wet everybody up in the hood and shit. Like he was like the old man in the hood that everybody like, you know, he was, every neighborhood got one of those older men. You know what I'm saying? One of those old school cats. You know what I'm saying? They be trying to like help out the youngins. I don't even like talking about the past in my old neighborhood and shit because I know for a fact that when I moved to Cali, a bunch of people just linked up and grouped up with people that was like from my old area and made up lies about me and shit like that. And the reason why I know I was lied on because I reached out to some people and I never got a response. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, if ain't nobody talking to me, if ain't nobody saying shit to me, but it's a bunch of ongoing shit online, that means that some type of lie is being told and nobody's telling me directly. Sometimes I be thinking that one of these ladies way back in 06 take my nut or take my sperm and give it to somebody or some shit like that. I be thinking that shit sometime. I remember in 06, it used to be these girls calling my phone. This is right after I stopped hanging out with a lot of niggas from down the street. This is in like fall or winter time of 2006. And these girls used to always call my phone, playing on my phone, telling me, I'm pregnant. But I thought that was Jock's sister, you know what I'm saying? Just playing on my phone, messing around with me. I thought that was Jock's sister, Jasmine. You know what I'm saying? Because she used to have two homegirls' names. One of them name was, I think, Brittany or Ashley. It was Brittany or Ashley. I think it was Brittany. And I forgot her other homegirl name. I forgot her name. This dark-skinned chick, yo. But if somebody has taken a lie that was told 20 years ago and threw it on me in some type of way, and then somebody else in a whole nother state tried to uphold a fucked up ass way of interacting with me, you cannot justify your actions with what somebody else told you. I don't care if it was a week ago. If somebody come up to you and say, oh, I heard that nigga AJ stole something, or I heard that nigga AJ was moving foul. You know what I'm saying? You a grown ass man, you a grown ass woman. You ain't got no business going out your way to try to ruin somebody's life and lie on them or try to clone their family and attack their family and stuff like that. I didn't care about the he say, she say talk to the point where it made me want to actually physically do something at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? But when I looked up one day and realized family members of mine look different, I said, this is some bullshit, yo. This shit went too fucking far. So I just wanted to talk about that, yo. Like I said, the only way that somebody could have thrown it, there's no way somebody could have thrown that on my name. You know, I was 16 at the time. That was before I even went to driver's training. You know what I'm saying? This was in like the spring of 06. This is in like February or March of 2006, I think, when that happened. And that dude, Mark, he smacked his head on the steering wheel or something because he was bleeding after he smacked his car. He had like an old school Camaro, yo. This dude was deaf, but he wasn't retarded. But he was partially deaf. You know what I'm saying? He talked like his tongue was numb because he was like partially deaf. And that was Lando and them Auntie Dot's boyfriend or husband or something like that, yo. I remember all of this. He used to get drunk a lot. So I still remember this shit like it was yesterday, yo. It was this dude named BJ standing outside. It was, I think DJ or Daquan was out there. This dude named White Boy Kev was out there. We was standing across the street from Mr. Urban House, like around the corner, because niggas used to have their cars parked over there. And I didn't always hang with them older niggas. My brother went to Redford High School with them, so they knew me because who my brother. You know, that nigga used to go to Redford High School. He graduated in the year 2000. I'm old as hell, you know what I'm saying? So this isn't back in 06. This dude Mark smacked into the pole, yo, and the whole damn neighborhood had a blackout. The whole neighborhood, it was a blackout in the whole neighborhood. Everybody lights went out. They had to call the fucking electricians and shit like that because when he smacked into that pole, the power line blew up, and then it also other power lines started blowing up on the other block. That shit was crazy. And all he did was he hit that pole hard as fuck. A power line didn't fall down to nothing. He just smacked that shit hard as fuck, yo. So if somebody is holding on to a lie that got told on me, like I'm not even gonna try to think that into existence, but I do want to know if somebody made up some lie about me, because if somebody made up a lie like that about me, I got more animosity toward the person that's holding on to something that was stated about me 20 years ago and then basically justifying moving in a fucked up way based on some shit that man, look. If people want to get upset with me, if people want to attack me, and if people want to basically criticize me and all kind of fucked up shit, you need to criticize that dude that stay right down the street from you that's raping women. You need to criticize that nigga that stay right around the corner from you that's killing people. You need to criticize that dude that stay right down the street from you that's probably running some sex trafficking business or some shit like that. You need to criticize all them other people. It's no way you could justify attacking me and family members of mine and cloning people moving in a fucked up way. You know what I'm saying? It's no way. Because I heard all kind of fucked up shit about people on an everyday basis. Whatever you doing in life, as long as you're active, meaning as long as you like in motion, you going to work every day, you just doing something that requires moving somewhere, going somewhere, you go to the gas station at least once a week, you gonna always have conversations with somebody. You gonna always talk to somebody. It's gonna always be something negative being stated about somebody in some type of way. So that's just life. So it's no way somebody heard something about me and put a stronghold on it and just held on to it or hugged onto it and said, oh, hell no, I heard that nigga stole from somebody back in the day. And I'm going to also talk about when I was standing on the porch. This is in the summertime of 06. And I saw this dude like named Willie and Tell shooting back and forth with each other with Roman candles. Roman candles are like bottle rockets, they fireworks. They were shooting back and forth with each other. I was sitting on DJ porch laughing. And then them niggas ran up on me and started shooting at me with it. And that's how I got shot with a Roman candle back in the day, in the summertime of 2006. But it was another time, this dude named Thomas, yo, this shit happened also in the summertime of 06. This nigga like shot some fireworks in some lady house. You know what I'm saying? Because some girl didn't give him a hug. I still remember this shit like it was yesterday. It was some girl that didn't give him a hug. Some girls that just moved in the neighborhood. And some girl said she didn't want to give him a hug. And this was on like Westwood in occasion, or like Minnock in occasion. I ain't on no snitch shit or nothing like that. But I remember he like shot a bottle rocket in their house one time. And I was like, nah, man, that shit going too far. I remember TJ talking to me about it, laughing about that shit. But I said I had a dream a couple months ago. I released a video and put it on IG. And I said I had a dream with Thomas basically trying to like sneak and like talk to my sister and shit. And I was trying to figure out what the fuck that dream was telling me. So, I ain't seen that nigga Thomas since like 2012, yo. I ain't seen niggas in that old neighborhood, and I'm not looking at checking like for a lot of people around that hood. I'm just trying to figure out what God is telling me, yo. I'm just trying to figure out what God is telling me. But it seemed like every time I came around there, some type of lie got told. So if it's somebody holding on to a 20-year lie, 30-year lie, man, look, that means people just wanted to be fucked up, because somebody could have just came to me directly and asked me, hey, is this true? I heard this about you. Is that true? Is that true? So the fact that nobody said anything at all, they just said, I want to justify moving in a fucked up way. And it's a lot of people that's in secret organizations paying people to make up lies about me. This been going on for a long time. So if it's some lady looking at me like, oh, you little hoodlum, I heard that you stole a car back in the day or some shit like that. And I'll be like, okay, well, won't you address that little hoodlum that stay right down the street from you? That's probably your nephew or something. And it probably took somebody's life or beat some lady or raped some lady the other day. You ain't gonna say nothing to them. So my point is, I'm not saying attack everybody how you attack me. I'm saying stop trying to look for a reason to justify moving forward when you know I ain't did shit to you, when you were just looking for a reason to be scandalous. Because I'm the one that had dreams and visions about family members of mine asking me for help, people getting cloned, begging, praying to God to keep my family safe, healthy, and alive wherever they at. You feel me? Nobody else going through that. I'm the one that looked up one day and realized it was a bunch of gay men making up lies about me, trying to make it look like I'm having sex with men. I looked up one day and realized people was trying to contradict me and lie on me and say that I've been celibate for a couple weeks and shit like that. And I've been celibate for 4 years, since February 2022. I ain't smoked a drink since February 2023. And I had people trying to plot shit on me, plant shit on me, lie on me, frame me, sabotage me, and all of them in the same exact understanding amongst each other. They might not be in the same gang. They might not be in the same brotherhood. They might not be in the same sisterhood or the same sorority. They not be in the same clique or the same cult or the same organization, but they all got the same understanding amongst each other. And they saying, okay, we trying to lie on this guy right here, and this how we moving. Man, look, right now as I speak, it's January 28, 2026. You feel me? It's 2:50. It's 2:51 p.m. I just wanted to make this more clear and be more information on, I just wanted to elaborate more, you know what I'm saying, on the stuff that happened in the past. And this is 20 whole years ago, 20 years ago, yo. So don't nobody want to be making videos talking about shit that happened 2 decades ago, you feel me? But when I feel like it's some type of lie that been told a long time ago, it take a real clown type of nigga to basically hear something about me 20 years ago and then base his actions on today's age and then act like he gonna act some type of fucked up way toward me, where you could just have a conversation with me, where you could just have a talk, have a regular conversation with me like an adult. But you rather run around and basically go off of he say, she say talk. I'm not even going to think that into existence, yo. Like I said, everybody in that neighborhood saw who smacked into that pole back in the day. That was a long time ago. Everybody in the hood saw that shit. Everybody. And my sisters wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? But the niggas around that area, around like around Granville and Kendall was around that area, you know what I mean? So everybody, at least enough people saw, man, everybody saw that shit. The EMS came and was checking Mark because he was bleeding from his head. They was trying to tell him to stay away from his car because he kept on trying to run over to his car and grab his car because his car was on fire and shit like that. The nigga car blew up. Everybody got a whole, I said every single day in that neighborhood was like an episode of Friday. Everybody got nothing but, man, niggas got plenty of memories around that area. It was all kind of crazy shit that was happening back in them days, yo. It's a whole lot of stuff that I remember, but I just be talking about stuff that's alone like the humorous side, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that was funny. I be trying not to think about the stuff that was negative, that was depressing and shit like that. But it seemed like every single time I speak about something that happened in that neighborhood, something negative follows me, yo, or something. Because when I was living in Fort Myers, Florida, between December 2013 and June 2018, it was niggas bad talking me to people in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm not no fool. People in Fort Myers, Florida don't just out the blue dislike people. Especially when I moved to St. George, South Carolina, I knew that somebody was making up some lie about me because people in St. George, South Carolina, when I talk about Southern hospitality to the fucking fullest, yo, everybody be real friendly. It be like, that's just how people like is there because everybody was taught to respect their elders at an early age in the South. So they be real more friendly with people that's a new face because they be like, okay, this person don't seem like they a fucked up person. They don't seem like they on some bullshit, whatever. So the moment that everybody just immediately shift and start acting different, that means somebody somewhere around made up some lie. And people thought that they could just insult my intelligence. No, yo, my family members been cloned, meaning somebody basically used some type of DNA transfer or something and cloned them, and now they trying to play me for a fool. Fuck no. I see that. People can easily get around each other and then tell a story and it could be a lie. If you never in your life held a conversation with me, if you see me make so much as one video saying, hey, my phone is hacked, then every fucking thing else after that should have you convinced, okay, this nigga phone is hacked. So you don't know what to believe from anybody. You don't know what the fuck to trust. But if somebody has made up some lie about me in that hood on that day when Mark smacked into that power line, smacked into that pole and lit the whole damn hood up and then blacked the damn hood out, if somebody is throwing that on my name, yo, the only way that can be covered up is if everybody in the hood is covering it up because the damn police was out there, yo, the fire trucks was out there, the EMS was out there. They was all out there. So there's no way that somebody could throw something on my name because it was nothing but police officers and the EMS and shit and cameras and shit out there. That I think that shit was on the news. So there's no way that somebody could have thrown something on my name, yo. Absolutely no way. Man, it's AJ, yo. 2:55 p.m., you feel me? January 28, 2026. God bless to everybody.